Liverpool have pulled out of the race for Alexander Isak as it stands. The Premier League champions were willing to break the bank with an eye-watering £110 million bid, but Newcastle have refused to budge. talkSPORT understands the Reds don't want to get dragged into a cycle of rejected bids, and the Magpies would only consider selling the Swede if they found a suitable replacement. Sean Dyche sympathises with the situation the Toon are in.
It's very difficult now, for clubs to keep these players. Then players saying, well, what about a new contract? Well, if his mindset on not a new contract, and it's Liverpool Football Club, let's say, that he wants, then where is the line?
In other transfer news, Sunderland have signed goalkeeper Robin Roofs from NAC Nijmegen. Rangers have brought Mikey Moore to Ibrox on a season-long loan from Tottenham. And as for Spurs, they've agreed a deal with Bayern for João Palhinha. Elsewhere today, former England cricketer Graham Thorpe has been honoured on day 2 of the 5th Test against India, with players and fans wearing his trademark headband. The ex-Surrey batsman took his own life last August after a long struggle with depression. His family are raising money for mental health charity Mind on what would have been his 56th birthday. The Lions are going for a clean sweep in the 3rd and final test tomorrow morning, and that's live on talkSPORT. If they can get the job done down under, will captain Maro Itoje go down as a Lions legend? Alex Cuthbert reckons so.
He's the captain, so he's the forefront. He's going to take the brunt of the whole, if they lost that game and then they're going into this series. So he's going to be right up there with the likes of Sam Warburton, the Martin Johnsons, because they're the only other guys that have, near enough in this modern era, won a Lions series.
Don't forget, talkSPORT's live coverage of the game begins at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. And it was another McLaren 1-2 in the second practice for F1's Hungarian Grand Prix. Lando Norris topped the timesheets with championship leader Oscar Piastri second. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc was third and teammate Lewis Hamilton placed 5th. For all the latest on these stories, you can head to talksport.com.
Good evening, this is the British and Irish Lions kick-off preview show here on talkSPORT as we look ahead to tomorrow morning's all-important 3rd and final test between the Wallabies and the Lions. I'm Olly Clink. Alongside me tonight, what a treat, we have former London Irish and England winger and co-host of talkSPORT 2's Lions Uncaged, none other than the legend that is Topsy Ojo. Topsy, first of all, very, very important. It was your birthday on Monday. Many happy returns. Did you have a nice day?
Appreciate that. Thank you. Had a lovely, lovely time catching up with family and friends. A lot different to my 30th when I went to Vegas. So, lads, to more family-friendly time. But yeah, it was lovely. Thank you, mate.
What are you now, 31? Yeah.
39.9.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Over the next 2 hours, we're going to be speaking about whether the Lions must win this game to cement their legacy as an all-time great touring team, as well as how important it is for the Wallabies with the World Cup just around the corner. We're going to be joined by one of the all-time Lions greats as well for a full half an hour. Sir Ian McGeechan will be with us. Very, very much looking forward to that. 2017 Lions Player of the Series, Jonathan Davies, will also be with us on the show. And Topsy will be picking his top 5 favourite moments from this Lions tour. And he'll choose his combined Lions, Wallabies and provincial sides 15. You got your top 5 favourite moments?
I do. It's been quite, getting into the final week, just having to reminisce about the last 6 or so weeks. So yeah, that was quite fun, actually.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to that. So the British and Irish Lions clinched their first series win in 12 years thanks to an incredible 29-26 victory over the Wallabies. It was sensational. Tomorrow morning's final test at the Olympic Stadium in Sydney is an opportunity for them to create history and become the first Lions team to sweep a series in almost 100 years. And you can hear all of the action unfold live and exclusively here on talkSPORT tomorrow.
the side was full of great individuals and experienced players. We knew that we had the basis of a great side, but we knew also that it would take more than that to beat the Springboks.
JJ Williams into the 25. Williams kicks it on. This could be a try. Williams has scored. Bennett with Billy Steele. Bennett on his own. Bennett 5 yards short. He's going to score. Phil Bennett. What a solo effort. A man that's led the Lions to this first series win in South Africa since 1896. Willie John McBride.
Every player in 74, nobody was going to be second best to anybody. It was as simple as that. We were going to be number one.
It's a big honor, boys. Take it with two hands, like Faz said.
When we met, Big Faz made the call. He wants us to go out here and win everything.
The British and Irish Lions have won their first series in 12 years. They are 2-0 up with one to play.
These lads have dreamed of being a British and Irish Lion all their lives. A dramatic finish like that to win the series is what dreams are made of.
Gets the blood pumping, doesn't it? After an incredible 2 months of rugby, the Lions' final test match for 4 years has arrived as they take on the Wallabies, live and exclusively on talkSPORT tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. It's in front of a sellout crowd at the Olympic Stadium in Sydney, and they'll look to emulate the great invincible Lions side of 1974. They won 21 out of their 22 games in South Africa, a side that Sir Ian McGeechan was a part of as well. So we'll be asking him about that later in the show. But Shabana Hearn will be your host tomorrow morning for the big game. She'll be joined by 2013 Lions legend Alex Cuthbert, as well as Wallabies all-time record try scorer David Campese, and your commentary team of former Lion Ben Kay and Andrew McKenna. I mean, Topsy, this tour has flown by, hasn't it? I actually can't believe we're at this third and final test.
Yeah, it really has. And to think, like, obviously back end of June when the Lions were playing Argentina in Dublin, and obviously we got underway with Lions Uncaged, kind of those first episodes, and that whirlwind period of when the players touched down in Australia, they were playing every 3 days. So you almost had, like, it was a whirlwind tour. It was coming thick and fast, and then all of a sudden you get out of that, you get into test week, and you think, like, right, there's only 4 games left. And all of a sudden it's like, right, we're at the back end when we're near the end, and of course here we are. The tour will be done.
Yeah, still so much on the line as well, it feels like, you know, legacy, etc. We'll get into that in just a moment. But also, how crazy does it feel that we're not going to see Lions rugby being played for another 4 years until they tour New Zealand? It feels like way too long.
I know. Especially, I think, because of the way the last tour went, in terms of you couldn't have fans, you couldn't travel through COVID and that. So to have it back properly in its fullest has been quite special. So I think you've almost whetted the appetite now for what the Lions tours are really about. So I mean, New Zealand in 4 years is going to be absolutely epic. Of course, everybody remembers what happened last time they toured, that drawn series. So to be able to go and take on the All Blacks will be something special. It
will indeed. Right, let's move on though and talk about tomorrow's game and the sheer importance of it, despite the Lions already having secured this series. We'll talk about the team selection very shortly. But first, let's hear from Lions head coach Andy Farrell and captain Maro Itoje. They spoke to talkSPORT's Alfie Reynolds during the week about how desperate they are to whitewash the Wallabies.
Well, it's something that we've talked about from day one, and again, we've put ourselves in a position to put that on the line. So that's why it means so much to us.
We want to be a part of something very special. Winning a test series obviously is extremely special, but what would be an absolute dream would be to go out there and perform to the level we think we can perform to and win the third game.
Topsy, there's no denying at all that winning the series in the first place is a fantastic achievement from this Lions squad. But to whitewash the Wallabies, you know, how much do you feel that cements their legacy as one of the best touring Lions teams?
It is huge. It is a massive icing on the cake, which is already a very, very good cake in terms of winning the Test series. Look, to do something that hasn't been done in nearly 100 years is pretty special. To win a Lions series in itself, you think the last one was 12 years ago. Before that, 16 years ago. So they travel every 4 years. It takes them a while to win a series. So, and I know some labels will be accused saying, look, you know, obviously it wasn't the strongest Australia team. It wasn't the strongest tour. You do the job in front of you, which is to win and to win well. So the players understand that 2-0 almost isn't enough. 3-0, puts them in a different category, and nobody, like, despite what you may say or throw at them, you cannot take away from a 3-0 series win in Australia.
Yeah, and as much as we could sit here and say it's not the strongest version of Australia we've ever seen, it took them till the last minute to beat them in that second test, of course, with such a dramatic finish to it. And actually, it's that record, isn't it? You know, you look at that 1974 team, they won that tour 3-0, but they drew one of the games. You have to go back to 1927 to find the last Lions side that actually whitewashed another side. It is so rare, no matter how good the opposition is that you're facing, no matter if it's not the best version of that opposition that you're facing as well.
That's absolutely it. And look, there's an opportunity in front of these guys that you don't get very often. Some of these guys won't become Lions again. Some will hope to go on future tours, but the opportunity is there in front of you now to go and cement your place in history. So you take it. You don't care about any external noise, any external factors. You beat Australia and you create history. So that 3-0 is a huge, huge carrot, and one that makes tomorrow so exciting. You normally get to this point of maybe a test series and you think, oh, dead rubber, it's done. No. There is so much riding on tomorrow. It's great, and I'm glad it's that way as well.
Well, despite the fact they've lost as well, it feels like a big game for Australia, mainly for the future of rugby union as well. Earlier on in the week, just outside the Sydney Opera House, talkSPORT's Alfie Reynolds, he's got around, doesn't he?
He's doing all
He's
right,
had a great tour.
He's doing all right.
He spoke to Wallabies great and former captain Michael Hooper, who said Australia need to capitalise on so many big rugby events being held in the country.
Of course, it's important, and the powers that be are going to work out how to make that a sustainable future for the game, that you don't run into some of the strife that we've had over the last couple of years. A golden period isn't just about performance on the field, it's what we do with the bottom level of rugby and how we make that sustainable, as the top needs to be as well. So it's a great time to be looking and have a microscope over all parts of the game for all parties.
You know, as much as we talk about, the future of Australian rugby and the worries about it going forward, such as the quality of this team at the moment, I mean, when you look at this tour, Topsy, the Olympic Stadium is an 82,000 sellout tomorrow. Last week saw a bigger attendance at the MCG, 90-odd thousand, than the FIFA World Cup final. So, I mean, who says rugby's dead in Australia when you look at the turnout from the nation and the hunger from them to come and watch these rugby matches and watch them take on the Lions?
Yeah, it's been a timely reminder, I guess, that things aren't as bad as they seem, and obviously, yes, the Lions' travelling support have had a lot to do with that, but ultimately, Australia can sell out huge stadiums. So they need to capitalise on the momentum that they've got now, where the eyes of the world are on them and everybody's watching this Lions tour, and then use that to take them forward, not just for the World Cups that are coming in 27 and 29, but also for the Rugby Championship, which is around the corner. They've got more test matches coming, so let's use this momentum to really build on that. And tomorrow's really important because, yes, they could lose 3-0, but I think it'd be the manner of the performance and what happens tomorrow. They built up a lot of goodwill last weekend. If they don't turn up tomorrow, they can lose a lot of it very quickly, so the performance really matters for them.
So you're saying even if they're beaten, but it's close and they put in a decent performance, because I think they could take so much credit from the performance, especially in the first half, from that second test, and actually in the second half of the first test as well. They just haven't had enough to get over the line against the Lions. But you're saying that even if they lose this series 3-0, as long as the performance is there, as long as there's enough of a spark for these rugby fans, then you're not too worried about the future of union in Australia.
Yeah, of course, ultimately they want to win tomorrow. 2-1 is much better than 3-0. But if they lose in a fashion that's anywhere near close to how it went down last weekend, then respect is maintained. If it looks like maybe the first half of the first test, everyone will say, well, look, you can turn up for 1 week, but, to keep our interest, we need this consistently. It can't be a flash in the pan.
Well, I tell you what, the team that Andy Farrell has picked, only 2 changes, so he wants this whitewash. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. This is the British and Irish Lions kickoff preview with coverage sponsored by Tenor Men. Keep control. Don't forget, the talkSPORT network has been your home of the Lions for the last 12 years. This year, no different. We've brought you over 200 hours of coverage, 9 live and exclusive commentaries, and you can hear the final test match live and exclusively here on talkSPORT tomorrow. Our coverage for that one starts at 10 o'clock with kickoff at 11. Up next, we're going to be taking a deeper look at Andy Farrell and Joe Schmidt's squads that were named for tomorrow's match.
the sticks, 5 metres out. Hugo Keenan to the left-hand side to win it! Hugo Keenan scores the try! 50 seconds to go! The British and Irish Lions lead for the first time this evening in the final minute of the game.
What a moment. It's just electric, isn't it? Goosebumps with that commentary from Andrew McKenna.
What it's all about, man. It's what it's all about.
Oh, my word. What are your quick reflections on that test? I mean, incredible end to it, but the way Australia came out, you know, that's when you knew you were in for a series, more than just a test match.
Yeah.
And the way the Lions battled back.
I was just so pleased for everything that came with it. You know, it was a brilliant game, both teams going toe-to-toe, showcasing the best of rugby, and then you get the dramatic finish at the end. Like, you can't write stuff like that, and I guess it came at a moment when the sport and this series needed it. So, yeah, man, I loved it. I was so happy with the way the game played out.
Oh, absolutely. This is the British and Irish Lions kickoff preview here on talkSPORT. I'm Olly Clink. I'm alongside the former London Irish and England winger Topsy Ojo. You just heard that moment in Melbourne last week. Hugo Keenan scoring the try to secure the Lions' first series win in 12 years in the dying moments of the match. Keenan keeps his place this week in Andy Farrell's starting lineup, which sees 2 changes for this week's match. I'll run you through the starting 15 as it stands at the moment. The props are Andrew Porter and Ty Furlong. Dan Sheehan in at hooker. Maro Itoje and James Ryan are the second rows. James Ryan coming in for Ollie Chesham, who drops to the bench. At 6, it's Ty Burns. 7 is Tom Curry. 8 is Jack Conan. Scrum half is Jamison Gibson Park, and then Finn Russell at number 10. Those two have been fantastic in this series so far. The other change comes at wing. Blair Kinghorn coming in for James Lowe, who drops out of the side. Bundyaki is in at inside centre alongside Hugh Jones, the partnership from last week. And then Tommy Freeman is at wing with Hugo Keenan at fullback. But the news of the day, Topsy, is that Tommy Freeman is struggling a bit with a back injury. And I believe that in training it looked like it might be Hugh Jones moving out to the wing. And who do you think might come in at centre to replace him? Do you find that a bit of a strange one?
Cometh the hour, isn't it? I mean, we knew from the moment he was called up as a replacement that, A, he was going to feature. The fact that he might be in line to start, we are talking, of course, about Owen Farrell, would be huge. Look, I hope that it's just a case of, look, we just need to protect Tommy. He will be fine for tomorrow. So if this were to happen in the game tomorrow, this would be the adjustment. So Hugh Jones would cover the wing. Owen Farrell would come into the centres. If Tommy Freeman is ruled out, I would like to think they would bring back in one of James Lowe, maybe in a Duane van der Merwe, somebody that can go like for like on that wing. Because as much as, yes, 60th, 70th minute, Farrell comes on, he partners with Aki, or you kind of shift a couple of pieces, that's not an 80-minute combination that you want out there.
I was going to say, are you not a bit gutted if you're one of the more natural wingers, seeing Hugh Jones as centre pushed out to that position? Because of an injury.
Yeah, that's where I hope it is. Look, it's just for this session.
Yeah.
Tommy will be fine. It's not, right, Tommy's out, Hugh's starting on the wing, because then it's like, hello, Andy, I play that position and I can do an all right job at it as well. So, yeah, hopefully Freeman is fit. I don't think they want too much disruption, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see how he wakes up in the morning and how that back feels.
Well, Kinghorn starts on the other wing for James Lowe, who I think out of this squad hasn't had the best tour. Do you think that's fair that Kinghorn does come in to start this game?
Yeah, very fair. I think Blair Kinghorn had a huge impact off the bench. Just extra zip, a bit of dynamism, a bit of threat, carrying the ball. Look, I felt for James Lowe. I felt for the wingers overall in terms of, you see the game plan that the Lions are trying to build, and it does allow for the wingers to get off their wings and get involved, but it's been hard going as well. And James Lowe is quite an all-action player. You know, Ireland use him a lot in terms of in attack as a first ball player, second receiver, his kicking game as well. And because he's so involved, when you're just a bit off, it shows. So when your main role is to kick the ball 60 metres and you kick it 30, it's like, that was off. Or you kick out on the full, it's like, it's not quite there. His finishing hasn't been as sharp as well. So I'm not surprised, actually. I thought maybe after the first test, one or both wingers might be under threat, and it so happened that third test, unfortunately, James Lowe is missing out, as it stands.
Yeah, as it stands. Yeah, it might be you, Topsy, ends up.
Well, who knows? Or, I mean, we saw with Hugh Jones, you get left out one day and you're back in the next. So we'll see what happens over the next 24 hours.
It's funny, though, isn't it? Because the Lions have used 27 players over the course of 3 Test matches. So it's quite clear that Andy Farrell is sticking to the players that he trusts in this tour. Out of interest, because the series has been won, and we've talked about the importance of that whitewash, and especially to someone like Andy Farrell, of course, who is competitive enough that any game matters for him, and of course it does in a Lions shirt. But was there any expectation for you for any further changes potentially?
No, to be honest, I don't expected 2 or 3. More based on the physical and emotional toll of last weekend. He might have got to Monday, Tuesday and thought, right, I just need to maybe freshen up a couple of bodies. But I mean, you touched on it there. Andy Farrell is hugely competitive, both as a player in Union and League, and now as a coach as well. He wants to win, and he wants to win well. So there's no room for sentiment. He will look at all the players in the eye on that Monday and say, we're going again. And they're like, yeah, we're going again. We want this 3-0. It was, Maro touched on it. It was said from day one, we're here for 3-0. So, yeah, we go again. That same core group of players, they go again.
Let's chat about the Wallabies now then. There's some key things to note from their squad. 35-year-old Nick White starts at scrum half. And what we found out today will be his final ever match in a Wallabies shirt before he retires from Test rugby. And I heard a little bit of him talking on Lions Uncaged, a brilliant show between you and Alfie Reynolds. And what a great guy he is. And he was asked, what are you not going to miss at the end of your rugby career? And he just said, nothing, mate. I love it. So I love that from Nick White.
He's had a great ride. He's loved every minute of it. Look, he's a huge character. Of course, he was over here playing in England for the Exeter Chiefs when they were really successful, winning domestic and European titles. Just a quality player. So, I know sometimes there's no room for sentiment, but I think he gets a final run out to kind of say, look, you've put a good stint in this Wallaby shirt and you get to run out again. But also, he'll bring an element of control in that. I think Jay Gordon played very, very well last weekend. He had a platform to do that. So hopefully Nick gets the run out that he wants, but of course not that the Lions want. They'll want to stop him and keep him locked up for sure.
Yeah. Elsewhere, Will Skelton starts, but no Rob Valentini. And then Dillian Peach is in for Harry Potter, who picked up that injury out on the wing. Let's quickly hear from Wallabies head coach Joe Schmidt now, who spoke to the media earlier today and claimed the Wallabies weren't even expected to challenge the Lions.
My belief is that 18 months ago, no one gave us a chance of challenging the Lions. And I think in total it's 3 tries apiece and 4 tries to 3 and not nearly as much between the teams as maybe people might have expected.
I'm not sure about Joe Schmidt's attitude throughout this entire series. I don't know about you, Topsy.
Tell me more.
I just feel that the whole time he's never really been bigging up his side. All he's talked about is the kind of growth of the sport and the importance of that. At no point has he really come out with fighting talk. And then once again, it's almost like he's making excuses, isn't it? He's there saying, well, we weren't even expected to be even close to the line, so actually we've done really well, even though we've lost the series already. I don't know. What have you made of his attitude?
Yeah, it's been a funny one, hasn't it? Like, I think at times you would have liked him to be almost a bit more spiky and fight back and say, look, like we've had, that interview, a classic example, like you can take his words out of context, but actually if he'd have said it with a bit more bite, saying, look, 18 months ago, you guys wrote us off, and actually look at the scoreboard. Yes, first half of the first test we weren't great, but we have pushed this Lions team and we led them for 79.5 minutes last weekend. That was the only way they were able to beat us. So we are much better than you gave us credits for. So actually you should be giving us some respect. That might have been how you wanted that interview to come out, to pump the tires up a bit of the audience. But it was a bit more like, well, we thought this might happen. And he said similar before the start of the test as well. Yeah. So, it's almost like overplaying the underdog mentality, when actually at this point you're like, no, we're going to win this third test and we're going to show you we're as good as we knew we were all along.
Well, I'm not being funny. It's not exactly striking fear, is it, into that Lions dressing room? And I'm sure you've been in these kind of situations where the opposition manager has maybe come out in a press conference and said something that makes you, as the team that he's going to be facing, think and go, hold on, these boys are up for it. These boys will be a challenge. I just don't feel that Joe Schmidt's done that for Australia. And if you are the underdog, that's the thing you need. You need belief. And I'm just not sure that he's done that.
Yeah, it could be his persona. Like Joe is a fairly laid back character, and he's very careful with his words, very measured. So maybe and hopefully he's left that role to someone else to really kind of light the fire. And I guess obviously he's got a responsibility for the bigger picture, but there's some moments where you just want to see, like, go on, Joe, give it to him.
He's left it to David Campese on talkSPORT.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Hasn't he?
Who owes Alan Brazil a bottle of wine because of that second Test win, of course. So, send one across, David. I'm sure he'll enjoy that. This is the British and Irish Lions kickoff preview live on talkSPORT with coverage sponsored by Tenor Men. Find out more at tenormen.co.uk. Don't forget, we've got another incredible weekend of live sporting action here on talkSPORT tomorrow. All kicks off, of course, with the Lions, that all-important third and final test against the Wallabies. We'll bring you live and exclusive commentary of that from 10 o'clock. And straight after, Adrian Durham takes you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in as the League 1 and 2 seasons get underway this weekend. Domestic football's back.
I can't believe it, mate. It's the start of August and we're back already. But
we love it. It's going on right now as well, live over on talkSPORT 2, Luton against Wimbledon. If you do want to listen to that, we'll also bring you 2 live and exclusive commentaries on talkSPORT 2. Cardiff taking on Peterborough at 12:30, whilst at 3 o'clock it's Bradford against Wickham. talkSPORT is your home of the EFL, and across the season we'll bring you over 150 commentaries from the Championship, League 1 and League 2. Right, up next we're going to be joined by an all-time Lions great, the legend that is Sir Ian McGeechan.
is you'll meet each other in the street in 30 years' time, and there'll just be a look, and you'll know just how special some days in your life are. We've proved that the lion has claws and has teeth. We've wounded a springbok. When an animal is wounded, it returns in frenzy. It doesn't think. It fights for its very existence. The lion waits, and at the right point, it goes for the jugular.
This is the British and Irish Lions kickoff preview show here on talkSPORT. We're continuing our build-up to the third and final test between the Wallabies and the Lions on talkSPORT. I'm Olly Clink. Alongside me is the former London Irish and England winger Topsy Ojo, and the voice you heard there belongs to a man who toured with the Lions as a player during the famous 1974 Invincible tour to South Africa and the 1977 tour to New Zealand, winning an incredible 8 caps. He coached the Lions on 3 separate tours back in 89, 97 and 2009, delivering, like we heard there, some of the most famous speeches we've ever seen in Lions history. I am delighted to say a very good evening to the legend that is Sir Ian McGeechan. Sir Ian, how are you doing?
Ollie, I'm fine, thank you.
Good. I mean, we'll get to the current series in a few moments' time, but even hearing that speech back just there, it gives you goosebumps. I mean, how does it feel for you to hear it back? Does it take you back to that moment before that huge game in 97, that pivotal game?
Yeah, it's strange, really, because, of course, it came out of a video. At the time, you're only talking to the players and you're in your own little world ahead of a test match. So it still does. It brings back good memories, I have to say. But at the time, we knew how big a game we were going into, and I remember as a player the third test in '74 where the Springboks were going to lose a test series for the first time in their own country, and that was the toughest, hardest game of rugby I ever played. So I thought I knew what was coming in the second test in '97, and the Springboks didn't disappoint us with their response.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? If you talk about that '74 tour as well, because this is what this team is trying to emulate in terms of that invincible side back in 1974. And you mentioned just how tough and intense that game was against South Africa. I mean, taking yourself back to those moments, who was it in that side? And I can think of one name that you might mention, but who was it in that side that maybe influenced you going forward in terms of leadership and influenced you in terms of your coaching style?
I think Willie John was a tremendous captain, Willie John McBride, and I think it was his 4th or 5th tour as a player. And again here, and Sid Miller, the coach. Sid Miller was just a great coach. He just looked at the little pieces, and although he's a front row forward, he knew exactly what was needed up front, but actually encouraged us behind to play and not be afraid of playing if the opportunity was there. And I think that meant a lot. He used to come out and say, keep using your hands, keep using your hands, keep using your hands. When you're getting that from a coach, just in little conversations, not big instant in a way, but just the things that you say, right, I'm going to make sure, as Sid has told me, to do the things I'm in the team for and I'm supposedly good at. And those little conversations, I think, influence me a lot. I like to enjoy talking to players one-to-one or in little groups, and Topsy will know how important sometimes as a back three you can be with when the game's in front of you and where you can go and things you see that others can't see because they're much closer to the action. And having those sorts of conversations, I think, influenced me as a player. I think, made me a better thinker about what was happening and why. And it was great enjoyment. I mean, there was a lot of enjoyment, a lot of smiles. And in the end, when I had the opportunity to coach, which I didn't really expect, if I'm honest, I just wanted to play the players I coached to get the same and as much out of it and more that I'd got as a player as well, and have that feeling of just how special it is when you're in a really good group of Lions.
It's interesting you say you didn't expect to coach on these tours, but we know the weight of the red jersey anyway. Do you feel that you felt more pressure as a player or as a coach?
As a coach, I think, because you're thinking about it all the time. As a player, you switch off a bit more, or we did, and I think you enjoy the moment more as a player. But I think the long things like the 74, I think we only really appreciated it when we'd got back home. We'd been away for nearly 4 months, so it was just a completely different experience. So I think it was only when you came back that it really hit you. As a coach, I think I've probably the satisfaction of seeing a group of players really perform as always something that I've enjoyed most.
Right, I want to take you back quickly, Sir Ian, to the day of the game. You're at Kings Park in Durban, 50,000 people watching, creating an absolutely raucous atmosphere. And the Lions centre, Jeremy Guscott, does this to win the game and the series in the final moments.
Dawson, have they got the self-belief? It's Guscott's drop! It's there! Jerry Guscott did go for the drop goal!
I mean, watching on for that, Sir Ian, I mean, how much do you treasure that moment in terms of your career? Is it the greatest moment across everything that you achieved as a player and a coach?
Yeah, I'd have to say, I think, Scotland winning a Grand Slam was important to me as a coach. But yeah, if I had to pick one moment, it would be that drop goal and the final whistle that came about 5 minutes later. And I think the lead up to that was just so good, because we talked about playing South Africa that players would have, if there was a job to be done, if they were in a position to do something about it, irrespective of the number on their back, that we encourage them to do it. And the lead up to that, I think, is Jerry Guscott is probably only in one of the 3 rucks he was probably ever in his rugby career, with Neil back to win a turnover. Keith Wood was at nine, who kicks the ball and chases it. It's kicked into touch inside South Africa's 22. We win the line out, and then there's a good drive. So the front row that was supposedly weak was carrying ball, and Gregor Townsend has a real go for the line, which is why he wasn't there when Matt Dawson was looking for somebody to pass to. And Jerry was there to drop the goal. So it was great in a way to see the players just responding to what was needed to actually create that moment. And you look back at just saying, if any one of those players had got it wrong, actually it wouldn't have happened. And it was there because they weren't afraid of actually just playing each moment that led to the big one. So yeah, from a coaching perspective, Jim and I, those were the days we just sat in the stand surrounded by supporters, so no coaching boxes. And I know we had a couple of altercations with some Afrikaner. We sort of got out of seats very quickly at the end of the game. But when you look at it, you just say it's just great moments, special moments, and it's what the Lions, out there in Australia at the moment will be feeling exactly the same way.
And each off the back of that, of course, you became famous after that 97 Living with the Lions documentary. But I mean, you just touched on it there. The difference in the coaches now, they have microphones, everybody's mic'd up, they can get messages down. When you've only got a certain period of time to make your words count, how do you know what the right words are, and where do you get the inspiration from to know what the right words are to say at that time?
It's difficult to say. I mean, I never really had anything written down, but I used to go for a walk in the morning of a game just to get my head right and think about where we were and what we'd done during the week and some of the conversations we'd had as a group during the week about what was important, and just try and just have 3 or 4 key things in my head that I felt would just try and reflect on, just leading into the game. And I don't think now probably we have the big team talks in the same way. And we used to, the players tend to have a build-up where they're in groups more now, I think, and talking between themselves as well, and then just having it all pulled together. But it was certainly something I just wanted the players not to be afraid of playing and having that clarity in their own heads about what they could do, but also what was coming, and certainly talking to them in that second test in 97, I just had the memories of the third test in 74 when it was an avalanche of Springbok rugby, and I just knew it was coming, and to try and prepare and say, look, you just have to stay in the game, stay with it, and you just make every involvement count, because if they don't get anywhere with it, particularly, and we stay with them, we always felt we could win the test matches in the last 10, 15 minutes of the game, providing the score line was close or we were just in front or one score behind. We'd had that feeling, I think, that in that situation we could always find an opportunity to win, and it was just having that clarity, I think, in all our heads that expect the avalanche, but stay with it, because there'll be opportunities in different shapes and forms. And then you get, Neil Jenkins, who kicks everything from everywhere. You're in a game and you're in a position that they've just worked so hard to be in, without ever being a game that, you could say until the final whistle that you were going to win it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those long walks did the trick, by the way, Serene, because some stirring words even there as well. Right, we're going to be keeping you on, of course, for another 15 minutes, so don't go anywhere. But it is half-time in League One in the game between Luton and Wimbledon. It's live on talkSPORT 2. Ian Abrahams has been watching for talkSPORT.
At the break, it's Luton 0, AFC Wimbledon 0, and I think the away team will be much the happier with how the first half has gone, because the home fans are already getting frustrated, not really testing goalkeeper Nathan Bishop, and at the other end, AFC Wimbledon, when they do come forward on the break, Josh Kelly in particular has looked dangerous. I think there's much talking to be done by Matt Bloomfield, the Luton boss, at half-time. Johnny Jackson, though, I think will be thrilled. The second half will be live commentary on talkSPORT 2. At the break at the Kenny, it's Luton 0, AFC Wimbledon 0.
we're saying Lions icon, including legacy, I find it very, very difficult to get past Sir Ian McGeechan.
The Lions leap in the air. They've done it. This first series win in South Africa since 1896.
When an animal is wounded, it returns in frenzy. It doesn't think. It fights for its very existence. The lion waits, and at the right point, it goes for the jugular.
Rugby history has been made. The Lions have won the series in South Africa for only the second time this century.
Good evening, this is the British and Irish Lions kick-off preview show here on talkSPORT. I'm Olly Clink, alongside me is former London Irish and England winger Topsy Ojo, and we are joined by Lions legend Sir Ian McGeechan. It is just over 12 hours, by the way, until kick-off between the Lions and the Wallabies in that final test match of the 2025 series. It is live on talkSPORT with commentary coming from 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. You don't want to miss it. Sir Ian, I do want to ask you about this current team, of course, and they're looking to make history by pulling off the whitewash against Australia, and they're looking to emulate the 1974 tour that you were part of to South Africa, the Invincibles. If this Lions side do get it over the line, where do they go down in history for you as a touring side?
They're a winning Lions team, and you know, in the end, we haven't had a lot of them. But I think, for me, the Lions is so personal that, you know, it reflects that group. That's why the Lions are so special, that you play with this group of players in the series, whether it's South Africa, New Zealand or Australia, with a group of players who are the best you've got and who bring, I think, the best out of each other when it goes well. And you won't ever play together again as a group. You won't come together as a group to play. And I think that's the uniqueness that you know, almost with the Test series, that it is you have to be right for every game, and you have to start again every game to put the game on the field again, which is why I thought they were outstanding last week in that second test, when, you know, Australia did have the physicality and bring the game to them, and they stayed in it. And you know, I've always believed that you don't win games in the first half, but you can lose them. And the Lions could have easily, 2 tries just before half-time were crucial in the psychology, I think, of that game. And then the second half of the move that Hugo Keenan ultimately scores from, you know, you'd want to repeat that and show that to most teams and say, look, this is the interplay of players in one team just playing off and for each other, irrespective of the numbers on their back. And crucially under pressure, and they probably knew it was the last possession almost of the game, they create this incredible set of phases that lead up to the try. So they've got a moment that everybody will remember. And I think that is so special when you're either a player or supporter or just an association with the Lions, that's what they do. And I think that's particularly for me what last week did. You know, it's put some special moments and some special memories out of this Test series with that game.
There are some, however, who might say that because of where Australia are currently, that even if the Lions were to win 3-0, it was expected, is what they should have done. And they might try and chip away at the magnitude of this victory, of something that no side has done for nearly 100 years. So what would you say to somebody that came back with that argument, saying it's not as special because of where Australia are?
Well, all I can say is try and win a Lions Test series against a team that thinks it's the biggest game they're playing in their lives. You don't get anything for nothing. And yeah, fine, Australia are not probably where they were previous to it, but one thing the second test showed is the intent they're good. They're top 35, 40 players. They're good players, very good players. And the intent that they had there, you can see, and I'm sure they felt how important that game and that result was to the Australians. And that's, you can never take for granted, because if you're not in a position where you put everything out there, you won't beat a team that's playing their biggest game of their lives as well. And they've been openly talking about it, to Olly, in the sense that, he's outstanding rugby player, come from rugby league, and all he was talking about was playing in this game. This was the biggest game that he'd ever been involved in. And you've got to remember that's what you're playing against. That's something, again, part of that uniqueness of what the Lions is and what it represents, not just to everybody who puts a red jersey on or supports it with a red jersey, but the opponents as well. That impact on them is just as big.
But what's impressed you the most about the coaching of Andy Farrell during this series?
Well, I think from 10,000 miles away, you're looking at a squad that I think has gelled really well. And he's obviously managed them well. The challenge of the Lions is always the travel and the potential to be involved in 2 games a week or 4 games in 2 weeks. Historically, that's what happens sometimes. That's what you have to do. And I think he's managed that really well, that he's got a group of players who are obviously enjoying each other's company, but are doing everything they can to make sure the group is successful. And I think that feeling comes out of the group, and it's great. It's great to see, and say from 10,000 miles away, it's great to feel that even the players, the group of players that won't have played. I mean, Marcus Smith, I don't think has started a game on tour, but he's been part of everything, and he looks part of everything. And that, to me, is, again, the successful Lions tours. The biggest players are the ones that don't play in the test matches, because they're the ones that set the environment. They're the one that set the training standards. They're the ones that set the quality and the standard of the preparation and the environment that you're in. So a test team can go on the field, and it's had 100% support in how that preparation is done. And there's Lions there, there's players there that will never have been dropped in their careers, who have had to be in a supporting role. But I think where Andy's been really good is everybody got games. He made 13, 14 changes to every team. So, that was a big challenge, that they had to work out the chemistry and who was playing. And as coaches, you're looking at how it's going in training. But as players, you are getting to know players that often you've only played against, and what you can bring out of each other when you're playing shoulder to shoulder. And I think that's what's come out of, for me, what's come out of just watching the team around the games and after games. You can see that togetherness, I think, and that real strength of support, which is where A, it's important, but B, it's also enjoyable when you're in that environment, when it's right.
Yeah. Ian, we've got to get your thoughts as well, because there has been some talks of the Lions potentially touring France in the future. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's a good idea, bad idea?
I think I agree with Andy Farrell. I think it's undermining what Australia is all about and what a Lions tour to the Southern Hemisphere is. There are times when, it's different strengths of teams. yes, could the Lions? I think one thing we've got is the Lions are quite unique in sport for me, and as a sport as rugby is, the four countries and the Southern Hemisphere should be doing as much as they can to make sure the preparation of a tour, both home and away in the Southern Hemisphere, is as good as it can be, and the players have the time to actually do things they want to be able to do in preparation for that. And the genuineness of what the Lions tours mean to our game, I think, is sometimes underestimated, and I am biased.
You're allowed to
Mr.
be.
Lions
You're allowed to be.
And so I think that Southern Hemisphere link is very important. Now, I wouldn't be against a game against France in the build-up to a tour, just as they'd played Argentina this time, or 2 games, but give them the preparation time. So when they do go on tour, they've got the best preparation and they've had the time to have the preparation.
Yeah.
And in a professional game, manage the season before. We can talk about it, about World Cups and everything else, but actually getting it right when 40,000 people are going 10,000 miles to watch a team, the game's got something special.
Absolutely.
And we should be making the most of that. So I know it's not a full answer, really, Topsy, but I'd include, I would, serious, if I was going to do it, I would use, even 2 games against the French, whatever, in the build-up, but actually manage that season so it makes sense when it's played and how it's played.
Absolutely. So, Ian, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Always appreciate you.
There we go. Sir Ian McGeechan there. What a privilege and a pleasure it was to have him on the show. This is the British and Irish Lions kickoff preview live on talkSPORT. You don't want to go anywhere, as up next we'll be joined by another Lions legend, Jonathan Davies.
Liverpool have pulled out of the race for Alexander Isak as it stands. The Premier League champions were willing to break the bank with an eye-watering £110 million bid, but Newcastle have refused to budge. talkSPORT understands the Reds don't want to get dragged into a cycle of rejected bids, and the Magpies would only consider selling the Swede if they found a suitable replacement. Sean Dyche sympathises with the situation the Toon are in.
It's very difficult now, for clubs to keep these players. Then players saying, well, what about a new contract? Well, if his mindset on not a new contract, and it's Liverpool Football Club, let's say, that he wants, then where is the line?
In other transfer news, Sunderland have signed goalkeeper Robin Roofs from NAC Nijmegen. Rangers have brought Mikey Moore to Ibrox on a season-long loan from Tottenham. And as for Spurs, they've agreed a deal with Bayern for João Palhinha. Elsewhere today, former England cricketer Graham Thorpe has been honoured on day 2 of the 5th Test against India, with players and fans wearing his trademark headband. The ex-Surrey batsman took his own life last August after a long struggle with depression. His family are raising money for mental health charity Mind on what would have been his 56th birthday. The Lions are going for a clean sweep in the 3rd and final test tomorrow morning, and that's live on talkSPORT. If they can get the job done down under, will captain Maro Itoje go down as a Lions legend? Alex Cuthbert reckons so.
He's the captain, so he's the forefront. He's going to take the brunt of the whole, if they lost that game, and then they're going into this series. So he's going to be right up there with the likes of Sam Warburton, the Martin Johnsons, because they're the only other guys that have learned.
Evening, this is the British and Irish Lions preview show with me, Olly Clink, alongside Topsy Ojo. So, the British and Irish Lions clinched their first series win in 12 years thanks to an incredible 29-26 victory over the Wallabies. Tomorrow morning's final test at the Olympic Stadium in Sydney is an opportunity for them to create history and become the first Lions team to sweep a series in almost 100 years. And you can hear all the action unfold live and exclusively here on talkSPORT tomorrow.
Hugo Keenan to the left-hand side to win it! Hugo Keenan scores the try! The British and Irish Lions have won their first series in 12 years.
These lads have dreamed of being a British and Irish Lion all their lives. A dramatic finish like that to win the series is what dreams are made of.
1974, isn't it, since the Lions team's gone to Series 1 and beaten.
The man that's led the Lions to this first series win in South Africa since 1896, Willie John McBride.
Every player in 74, nobody was going to be second best to anybody. It was as simple as that. We were going to be number one.
When we met, Big Faz made the call. He wants us to go out here and win everything.
They're a little bit more desperate, which we need to work on leading into next week.
Hugh Jones up and over the line, scores the try!
It's a big honour, boys. Take it with 2 hands, like Faz said.
What else could it mean to be a Lion? Prepared to win by skill, but be ready to win by will.
All the coverage live and exclusive on talkSPORT tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock when they take on the Wallabies in front of a sellout crowd at the Olympic Stadium in Sydney. Grab yourself a bacon butty and a cup of tea, or maybe something stronger. Shavannah Hearn will be your host for that one, and she'll be joined by 2013 Lions legend Alex Cuthbert, as well as Wallabies all-time record try scorer David Campese, who owns Alan Brazil, a bottle of wine, and your commentary team of former Lion Ben Kay and Andrew McKenna. Right, joining us for more on this now is a man who made 96 appearances for Wales over a 13-year career. He's a 2-time Lions tourist who won an incredible 6 caps. He was also voted Player of the Series for the 2017 Lions tour to New Zealand. A very warm welcome to the legend that is former Wales and Lions centre Jonathan Davies. Foxy, how you doing?
Good evening, gents. All good with me, thanks. Excited for tomorrow. So, can't complain.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, actually, does it take you back to the night before that 3rd and final test 12 years ago? The series was one apiece, so a slightly different picture, of course, but you were chosen over Brian O'Driscoll to start that match, which was a master move from Warren Gatland. I'm sure you thought that at the time as well. I mean, how did he tell you that you were starting that game, and how much pressure were you feeling heading into that game?
Look, I think there was a huge amount of pressure. Social media was in its infancy then. Facebook, there was a Facebook group called Justice for Bod with about 500,000 people liking it. I think my brother was one of those persons liking it as well. No, honestly, it was a huge amount of pressure, but the responsibility of what you represent, the history of the jersey, and those boys are in Sydney tonight. They obviously won the series, but I think I love the intent of this squad going down there wanting to win 3-0. It could have been quite easy to make a load of changes, but it shows that Andy Farrell feels this group is hungry to get the series whitewashed, which is no mean feat at all. This doesn't happen that often, and they want to write themselves into the history books.
So what you're saying is, unlike your tour where it was the end of the series, so where you could really get stuck in, at what point in the night would these boys have had to say, hang on, we've got 3-0 next week, so it's 4 beers, not 10?
Probably I reckon they might have sobered up maybe Monday, Tuesday after last week. Yeah, I think they would have given it a good go, but I definitely like the idea of them wanting to get back on the horse and give 3-0 a go. I think, I think it puts a different context on it. I think it would have been great if it was a decider going into this week, but I still think tomorrow is a great occasion. Australia will be hurting from last week, and this group of Lions players will want to go out and get a 3-0. So, it's going to be hugely competitive. And last week's Test match was an incredible match. And hopefully we can get the same again now tomorrow morning.
I'm sure you didn't know quite what day it was by the time you finished your celebrations as well. Let's talk a little more about tomorrow's match in a bit more detail. Jack Morgan keeps his place on the bench, and the Lions head coach Andy Farrell spoke to the media about how impressed he's been with Jack this entire tour.
I'm delighted for Jack. He deserves it. He deserves it. And that's it. Full stop. And how he's performed when he's been put in. Obviously justifies that. And that has to be at the forefront of all of our thinking. I cannot get away from what I've said the whole time. It's every single person in our group is exactly that. They're a lion. I know we all know where they are from, but you've got to be true to each individual on merit. I still stand by that. It has to be the way.
Yeah, I mean, how impressed have you been with Jack Morgan, Foxy?
Oh, look, his stats speak for themselves. He's been one of the top performers in the early matches of the tour, and he hasn't let himself down at all when he came on the field last week. And the responsibility he's carried, the weight of being the sole Welsh representative in the playing group, I think that comes with an added pressure as well. And the way his teammates and coaches are speaking about him in the media, I think he's gone about his business extremely professional, and gave a great account of himself. And knowing Jack, he's I think he talks to himself just a boy from the Neath Valleys, and he loves playing rugby. But he can be extremely proud of how he's represented himself and the country that he represents.
It's a 6-2 bench this time around for the Lions. It didn't really work for the Wallabies last week, especially after the injury to Harry Potter as well. Do you see that as a slight risk heading into this third and final game?
Look, I think there's some versatility in that backline for the Lions. Hugh Jones has played a bit of 15. Blair Kinghorn has played as 15 as well. Obviously, Owen Farrell can look after the midfield. He did that last week. So I think it probably covers a bit more than what the Australia bench did last week. And it does, that was the perfect indication of, the risk you do take when it's 6-2. He hasn't made a wrong decision yet, Andy Farrell. So you'd almost back his confidence and back his ability to know what sort of game plan bench they need to execute to get the win.
So your tour was the first win in 16 years, and this one again 12 years later. And obviously the boys are on a cusp of something special if they can go 3-0 as well. So if they're to do that tomorrow, what legacy do you think this group of players will leave behind, I should say, sorry?
I think it's one to be extremely proud of, and it's up there with, some of the greatest achievements in the Lions shirt. Like we said, I think the difficult thing of the Lions tour is coming together 4 or 5 weeks before a test series and building a cohesion, building an understanding, and you can just see this group are just so tight. And I think that's credit to Andy Farrell's coaching staff and management and the players themselves. They've held themselves in a great manner. They've seemed to have toured extremely well and enjoyed it. And yeah, I think they've done it the right way, in a way that they can be extremely proud of. And I think it's been great for the Lions moving forward. There's always talk: should it be in our game? And this tour, I think, has highlighted how important Lions rugby is to us.
Jonathan, thank you very much indeed for your time, mate.
Thank you very much, guys. All the best.
Foxy. See you soon.
There we go, Lions legend Jonathan Davies there. This is the British and Irish Lions kick-off preview show here on talkSPORT ahead of tomorrow's all-important second test between the Wallabies and the Lions. Right, up next, Topsy will be counting down, I'm looking forward to this, his top 5 favourite moments from this 2025 Lions tour of Australia. Don't go anywhere. Sing if you know the words. This is the British and Irish Lions kick-off preview here on talkSPORT. I'm your host, Olly Clink, alongside his former London Irish and England winger, Topsy Ojo. We're going to get Topsy's top 5 moments of the tour a bit later on. But why are we playing that music, which most of you might recognise as the French national anthem? Well, just moments ago, we were joined by the Lions legend, that is Sir Ian McGeechan, who gave his thoughts on the Lions potentially touring France.
I think I agree with Andy Farrell. I think it's undermining what Australia is all about and what a Lions tour to the Southern Hemisphere is. There are times when, it's different strengths of teams. I am biased.
You're allowed to
Mr.
be.
Lions
You're allowed to be.
And so I think that Southern Hemisphere link is very important. Now, I wouldn't be against a game against France in the build-up to a tour, just as they'd played Argentina this time, or 2 games. But give them the preparation time. So when they do go on tour, they've got the best preparation and they've had the time to have the preparation.
Topsy, do you agree, first of all, that the Southern Hemisphere side of everything is special and kind of shouldn't be tampered with, and that a tour of France just isn't quite the same and not in keeping with what the Lions should be?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the idea of touring France would be incredible. Like, so I did the Rugby World Cup there, and France loves its rugby. But tours to the Southern Hemisphere are special. They've been in history for a reason. And just because, yes, Australia aren't where they want to be right now doesn't mean all of a sudden we get to just disregard them. You should try and elevate as you go along. And the Lions is about shining a map on rugby at this moment in time. So let's pick Australia up so that in 12 years' time, they are in a place where they are one of the best sides in the world again. But on the warm-up games, I think you also need to seize on opportunities to maximise what you've got. And I think a British and Irish Lions against France game sells out in an hour.
Well, it's a hell of a warm-up game, isn't it?
You're almost struggling to find a stadium to put that in. I mean, obviously, you've got Twickenham, 80,000. You've got the Stade de France, 80,000. I'd probably go Wembley. Get 90.
What about abroad? What about this? I really want to know what you think of this. What about America, where rugby is growing? Let me just pitch this a bit for you. So 2031, is it, that they're expected to potentially host?
Yes,
a
Men's World Cup.
Men's World Cup.
And then the women's following.
So we want a bit of growth of the sport. It's all a bit Club World Cup-y, I guess, this. But what about a Lions team heading over to, I don't know, one of the huge stadiums out in the States? So, I mean, I don't know why, but I've got Las Vegas on the brain. I'm thinking that they go out there. You
wouldn't struggle for venues, would you?
And they play France in one of those stadiums. I mean, it would be absolutely incredible. But I think more importantly, ahead of what should and could be an amazing World Cup, it would just grow the game maybe slightly in the States. Now, I know that won't go down that well, potentially, with some of those fans, especially when you think about the fact they played Argentina in Ireland, and that's special because it means those Lions fans can go there. You'd be adding an extra stop on the tour for those tens of thousands of Lions fans that do go out and watch these tours. But what do you make of that as a shout?
Oh, man. As an idea, I absolutely love it. I mean, of course, there will be some logistics to pinpoint. And as you say, you've got to travel to one destination, then the other. But if you could get the parts right, just as we've seen with Ireland playing New Zealand in Chicago, which they're going to go and do again this November, you could pick an awesome venue. I mean, geez, you could go to a college venue and get 100,000 in, but you could pick an awesome venue and have this one showcase game whereby the eyes of the world, and in a new market, again, if you think about the Lions, actually, I mean, it would have been great for them to have played Argentina in Argentina, but obviously, again, logisticals to sort out. But if you could have a massive showpiece game with the eyes of the world on it, why wouldn't you go for it? I mean,
it's the only worry, though, that if they're taking on a team of the might of France, for instance, Argentina, a fantastic rugby nation, don't get me wrong, of course, but they beat the Lions in that opening warm-up game. Is there a worry that, as a Lions team coming together for one of their opening games, it could be pretty tough if you're taking on one of the best teams in the world?
The tougher the better. That's what you want. It's twofold. You want the best preparation to go and face New Zealand, who are coming up next, and then you want to maximise the commercials, you want to maximise the global audience as well. So if you can do all of that, why not? If the Lions lose, so be it. They lost to Argentina and hasn't made a dent to their tour. They've gone unbeaten on tour. So create the best spectacle you can, and people will come to the sport, and then you get the knock-on legacy effect afterwards.
Is Vegas the place to go if they do it in the States? I know a certain Topsy Ojo enjoyed his one of his birthdays.
Yeah,
there.
my 30th, a bit of a blur. There was no rugby involved, I can tell you that. But you could go to Vegas, you could go to Chicago, you could go to New York, Boston, Houston. Like, take your pick. Take your pick. Find the biggest and best arena that works for all things and make it happen.
Could there even be as well a US men's side who play the Lions too? You know, give something for the American fans to get behind. Again, another warm-up game against a side that are progressing. Could be of a similar standard of some of the other warm-up games that we've seen for the Lions too. So maybe, are we fixing World Rugby here?
We're doing our bit.
Are we fixing World Rugby Live on talkSPORT? I think we are. I'll say it right now. Highlight of that trip to Vegas, by the way? Are you allowed to say on national radio?
I am. It was the 2 events in one day. Did a helicopter trip to the Grand Canyon.
No way.
And then my first Vegas pool party was incredible.
Oh, my
Incredible.
word. I bet it was.
Yeah, that was a big day.
Yeah. Anyone we know on there?
No, it was all schoolmates. Oh, okay. So no, we had a good time.
Okay, I'm sure you're just saying that for protection. I'm sure there was a few antics.
Don't worry, lads, I got you back.
The Lions tour, of course, is coming to its conclusion here on talkSPORT. They take on the Wallabies in that third and final test tomorrow morning. Our coverage starts from 10 o'clock and kick off at 11. It's the final Lions game on Aussie soil until 2037, which is quite scary to think about. So make sure you tune in to be a part of it. Shabana Hearn will be your host for that one. She'll be joined by 2013 Lions legend Alex Cuthbert, as well as Wallabies all-time record try scorer David Campese, and your commentary team of former Lion Ben Kay and Andrew McKenna. Right, now it's time for this.
10K for Coldplay.
Yeah, Coldplay are back at Wembley this summer, and we've got a huge VIP prize up for grabs for one lucky listener. We're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd with full hospitality. Plus, we're going to chuck in 10 grand spending money. Why not? Completely tax-free. Here's how to enter. 18 plus, UK, excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338 by the 4th of August at 11 o'clock and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bills payer's permission, or post your name and number to Coldplay Competition, PO Box 3190, Colchester, CO2 8GP, to arrive by 5 o'clock on the 7th of August. This is a talkSPORT Limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Good luck. OK, in just a moment here on talkSPORT, Topsy Ojo will be counting down his top 5 favourite moments from the 2025 Lions Tour of Australia. Our coverage is, of course, sponsored by Tenor Men. Keep control. good was that pool party? Be honest. Was it
great.
good? Was it
It
good
was,
fun?
yeah, it was incredible. Because obviously you see this stuff on YouTube or on social medias and that, and you're like, is it what you think it's going to be? And then you get there, and obviously it was a birthday, and it was like we'd all turned 30 that year.
Yeah.
So everybody chipped in, did their bit, and you're like, right, there's your cabana, there's your drinks coming, and just.
This is why you're pushing the warm-up game being out in Vegas again, isn't it? Another chip out there.
Maybe, quietly.
Oh, good soul. Well, make sure you take me. This is the British and Irish Lions kickoff preview here on talkSPORT. I'm your host, Olly Clink. Alongside me is former London Irish and England winger and a man who loves Vegas, Topsy Ojo. It's been an absolutely incredible 7 weeks down under here on talkSPORT. It all started in Dublin before we flew to Perth for the opening game against the Western Force. We then landed in Brisbane. We went on to Sydney, then flew over to Canberra and back to Brisbane before heading to Melbourne for last week's test. And it all ends tomorrow back in Sydney when the Lions take on the Wallabies live and exclusively on talkSPORT from 10 o'clock. And now Topsy Ojo is going to count down his top 5 favourite moments from the tour. Looking forward to this. Let's start with number 5.
Number 5.
Henry Pollock pulls Seru Uru's head guard. That's what it is. And then Uru responds by grabbing Pollock's headband. So Pollock's basically being an agitator. And there was then a scuffle between Uru and Pollock.
I mean, we love a good old scrap from anyone, but especially when it's a youngster like Pollock coming in and taking it to the opposition. Why is this your number 5 moment, Topsy?
It was like Henry's great. I love Henry. Young man, big reputation, and he's known for being a bit of a wind-up. It's just his personality, but he picked the wrong dude that day. I think Seru turns around. He says he sees this kid saying, "Kid, you better watch yourself. I know there's cameras here, but I will fill you in quick time if you don't get off me." And he ends up on top of him. So
did that ever happen to you on the pitch at all? Did you ever kind of start a little...
too sensible for that. I'd get some of the bigger boys to come in and do the damage. Like, what
stay
are you
out
doing?
of it. Stay out of it. If you're on the wing, stay out of it.
I mean, fair play to him. I mean, he's been great, and I mean, what a year as well. Scores a try on his England debut, goes to the final of the Champions Cup with Northampton, goes on the Lions tour. I mean, well done, Henry Pollock.
Wow. I mean, how much do you think he'll take from this experience as well of being a Lion?
I hope that the hunger to kick on and do everything, even at such a young age, he's tasted so much, he's just getting started. So for him, I want to cement my spot in the England team. I want to be on the next Lions tour, and I want to be a test starter. Those are the next goals for him. But yeah, just keep trucking.
Yeah, what a future he might have. Right, let's move on to number 4.
Number 4.
Now a kick pass across the right-hand side. Russell finds Sheehan. Offload to Lowe. Lowe keeps it alive. Brilliant ball back inside. And Dan Sheehan, the Lions captain. It's a minute and 35 seconds. First try of the night. 4-0. Lions 5.
Yeah, there we go. Dan Sheehan's try against the Force. Why have you put this in at number 4 then?
For Dan Sheehan, I think everybody knew how good a player he was, but he's almost cemented his world-class qualities on this tour. First start, first Lions cap as captain, scores as well. Like, he's an incredible player. And just that moment, again, you think about what you're going to take away from this tour. I captained the Lions and I scored within 2 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, special moments.
Yeah, you're so right as well. You can tell that there's so many individual moments, whether they're in the warm-up games or in this test matches, that are just going to stay with these players for such a long time. That was certainly one for Dan Sheehan. Right, are we going to see what's made the bronze
Top
medal
3, let's do it.
position then? Here's number 3.
Number 3.
Down the right-hand side. Will that stay on the playing surface? Jorgensen does well. Bats it back infield. And Lange Gleeson picks up the loose ball. Gets it to Fraser at right. He's up to the edge of the 22. Goes to the left-hand side. Swahili gets absolutely melted by Tom Curry. Ball dislodged. Knock on.
Absolutely melted. I mean, this was an incredible moment, wasn't it? Why has it made the bronze medal position for you?
Because we can't predict the future, but I think if Tom Curry doesn't make that tackle, Australia score, and they probably go on to win the second test. It was such a huge moment. The Lions were still 18 points down at that moment, I believe. Australia had huge momentum. Big moments. Sometimes it's all about tries and highlight real stuff, but actually there are key moments in games, like a huge tackle, that changed the course of a game, and that was one of them for Tom Curry.
Given that he wasn't really in form heading into this series as well, what a series it has been for Tom Curry, by the way.
Man for the big occasions. Same in the World Cup, same when England have needed him, and now when the Lions have needed him. Was it a form pick? No. But has it been absolutely fully justified? 1,000%.
Is he player of the series for you, Tom Curry?
He's top 5 for sure. I mean, again, just by proving people that the big occasion, I'm the man for the job. I think he's been excellent. He's definitely put himself in the conversation.
Wow. Well, we'll get on to that then in a moment, because I want to know who you are picking as your number one for that. Right now, though, we're doing your favourite moments. Let's find out what was Topsy's runner-up.
Number 2.
Now Swahili, can he get into his running? Yes, he can. He's up and over halfway. Looks to the left-hand side. Wallabies for 40 metres. Tom Wright's going to go in. 2 tries in a matter of minutes. Half an hour played. Wallabies, 3rd try of the evening.
Wow. So it's Tom Wright's try in the second test. Talk me through this one.
It's my try of the series. Absolutely. That actually came from the kickoff as well. So they make a break down the right wing, they move the ball to midfield, and they're under the sticks again in the blink of an eye. Brilliant try. Absolutely brilliant try. And I mean, I love to see coast-to-coast stuff as well. So, yeah, that was special, really. And again, for Tom Wright, however this series plays out, you scored one of the kind of iconic tries of a Lions series. What a way to have your moment as well.
Yeah. Talking of favourite tries, do you have one of your own that sticks in your memory?
My first for England.
Of course.
Talk
me through it. Go on.
I got an assist from Dan Carter, the World Cup winning All Black, who was either going to throw a try-scoring pass or was going to assist me, my first try score. And I picked his pass off. We were in our 22. I'd say probably about 70, maybe 75 metres out. I get to the halfway line, hoping no one's chasing me. Look to my left, I see Mills Muliaina, their fullback, corner flagging me. So I'm like, right, here we go. And then I'm about 5 metres in. The fatigue started to set in. My lower back's going. Make it into the corner. Debut try. Again, memories for a lifetime.
Wow.
I'll never, ever forget that. The other is scoring for London Irish against Toulouse in the Heineken Cup, Champions Cup, now Heineken Cup semi-final at Twickenham. Again, dreamland stuff. Stuff. Just to have your moment in these big games. Yeah, incredible memories.
Have you got them framed at home? You know, is it that kind of thing?
My first England shirt, and actually I swapped shirts in that Toulouse game, so the picture of me scoring in that game as well. It's at my parents' house. It's in the garage, but it's nicely framed. It's still nicely framed.
Lovely. Oh, that is great stuff. That moment, Dan taking the pass from Dan Carter. You've kind of killed 2 birds with one stone there, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because inadvertently, one of the greatest players ever is.
I know. I mean, of course, we won't talk about the result, but yeah, I had my moment.
No one asked about it. Nobody asked about it. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Okay, let's find out then. What was number 1? What was Topsy's favourite Lions moment from this series?
Number 1.
Hugo Keenan to the left-hand side to win it! Hugo Keenan scores the try! 50 seconds to go! The British and Irish Lions lead for the first time this evening in the final minute of the game. The Wallabies players are hands on heads, kneeling on the floor. They cannot believe it.
I mean, it wasn't going to be anything else, was it?
No.
Hugo Keenan's try in the test in Melbourne to win the Lions the series in the final moment. So my question for you is actually, where does it rank in all-time Lions moments for you?
For me, I guess my history with the Lions, watching the Lions, obviously doesn't stretch the entire generation, but it is right up there with, I guess, my first real memory, which is Jerry Guscott.
Yeah. You would put it up there with that?
Yeah, because you have won the series with your action, be it a drop goal or in this case a try.
The only reason I question it is because we have talked about the quality of the Australia side and you know, even talking to Sir Ian McGeechan earlier about, you know, heading into that test in 97, you know, there was so much riding on it. It was such a difficult South Africa side. Does that change it slightly for you?
It doesn't for me, because if you just look at how the way that game played out, Australia were a completely different team. They were on it, and actually, as much as when you spoke to the Lions players afterwards, they didn't feel too concerned at 18 points down. There would have been some shell-shocked nerves being like, what is going on? Like, these guys are on it. You're in a real test match, and it took them to the 79th minute to win it. That tells you everything about the battle, the occasion. So yes, going into the series, this conception about where Australia were, on that day, they were excellent. They were outstanding. Everything we wanted to see from them. and the Lions had to win it at the death, which is all that mattered.
Oh, and it truly was amazing. Right, there has been a goal at Kenilworth Road in League One between Luton and AFC Wimbledon. Ian Abrahams.
5 minutes to go. Luton Town 1, AFC Wimbledon 0. And Wimbledon have played so well tonight, but unfortunately an own goal from Ryan Johnson looks to have handed Luton 3 points on their return to League One. It was a ball in from the left-hand side, aimed towards Courtney Woodrow, who made a run inside the penalty area. Johnson backpedaling, got his head to the ball. It sent it looping over his keeper, Nathan Bishop, and via the crossbar into the back of the net. 5 minutes to go. The last 5 minutes are live on talkSPORT 2. It's Luton Town 1, AFC Wimbledon 0.
Huge goal for Luton Town back in League One, and as Moose says there, it is live. The closing stage is over on talkSPORT 2. Right, Topsy, I've got a couple of quick-fire questions then for you. We alluded to it a bit earlier. I asked you if Tom Curry was player of the series for you. You said, yeah, he's top 5. So, for you, who has been the player of the series for the Lions?
It's really, really tough, but I'm going to go Finn Russell.
Interesting.
Yes, for the reason being, look, the others in and around the conversation, Gibson Park, Ellis Genge, Tom Curry, Tyke Byrne, and to an extent Maro Itoje. But I think what Finn's done brilliantly is he's had this maverick term thrown at him for years and years and years, and he's been able to control a game despite having that tag. People seem to sometimes forget about that, but what he's done brilliantly this tour is just made the team shine around him. And even when he's made a couple of mistakes, he's just kept at it and delivered quality moments when it's mattered. Case in point, the 14-15 phase Passenger played to win the game, he was at the heartbeat of that, just orchestrating it. Attack here, attack there, buying time. So actually, he's allowed the team to shine. He's got the team over the line. So his influence can't be underestimated in this Test series.
The way he's played alongside Gibson Park as well, those two as a pair have been absolutely fantastic. So I can completely understand why you have gone for him. Right, who has been your favourite character of the series?
My favourite character? Pierre Schumann, actually, the poet.
The poet.
Who knew it? Who knew it? It was bound to be a front row. I mean, immediately I went to Schumann, I went to Ellis Genge and Andrew Porter. Actually, who I've seen a couple of bits on socials, and I don't know, when front rows get together, I think because their life on pitch is just so hectic. Scrums, mauls, line-out, grunt work. Off the pitch, they're just a jack of all trade. They're so chilled out. So between poetry, darts, making coffees, they're so fun to be around. I love it. So I'd go Pierre Schumann.
Oh, I love that. And finally, who's been your surprise star of the series?
Ooh, surprise star. Yeah, that's maybe not a surprise as such, but a special mention for Hugh Jones.
I thought you were going to say him.
I mean, again, I had him as a Test starter, but I think he's really cemented his reputation as a quality operator. We kind of knew it before, but started the first Test, got dropped, got back into the team. He's now a 3-cap Lion. Really, really impressive stuff, and fair play to him.
Yeah, I think he's had an amazing series and could easily be in that conversation as well. Maybe in that top 5 for player of the series. Don't forget, Alfie Reynolds and Topsy Ojo will be bringing you all of the fallout from the Lions' third Test on Lions Uncaged this Sunday from 11 o'clock on talkSPORT 2. Plus, if you missed it, you can find it as a podcast in all of the usual places. It is a fantastic listen, so make sure you tune in. You're doing a roundup show on Sunday, I believe.
We are, the final one. The final one. It's going to be sad.
Oh, you're going to miss each other.
Oh, we will.
It's all right. We'll invite Alfie out to our party in Vegas. It'll be fine. Yeah, he'll bring the party as well. This is the British and Irish Lions kickoff preview show here on talkSPORT ahead of tomorrow's all-important third Test between the Wallabies and the Lions. Up next, we're going to head over to Sydney to hear from Alfie Reynolds and commentator Andrew McKenna.
this fresh off the back of the last leg of a trilogy of undisputed title fights with Amanda Serrano. I'm aware that you're in the heat of a trilogy of your own. There is no right to win. It must be earned every game.
Hugo Keenan to the left-hand side to win it! Hugo Keenan scores the try!
Every fight.
Brilliant three-punch combination from Katie Taylor.
Every tackle.
Swahili gets absolutely melted by Tom Curry.
Every minute. I know that even if it isn't pretty, I am 100% confident that I will go to the trenches if necessary.
They fought for history, and they're making history. Ladies being buckled. Oh my word!
That's a matter of will. So here's my message. Prepare to win by skill, but be ready to win by will.
Gliding to the right-hand side.
It's a big honor, boys. Take it with two arms, like Faz said.
In both our sports, it is often the case that the biggest will to win takes the spoils. I hope all the performances are worthy of your skills, but if not, I'm confident that your will and your courage will be enough. After all, what else could it mean to be a Lion?
Stirring stuff. This is the British and Irish Lions kick-off preview show here on talkSPORT ahead of tomorrow's third and final test between the Wallabies and the Lions. I'm Olly Clink. Alongside me is the former England winger Topsy Ojo. You just heard there a master of her craft, two-weight undisputed world champion Katie Taylor, who shared that stirring message to the Lions ahead of last weekend's match, inspiring them to an incredible 18-point comeback to win this series. I tell you what, Topsy, I've got a question I really want to ask you in just a moment. But first, it is approaching full time at Kenilworth Road. Ian Abrahams has been watching Luton against Wimbledon for talkSPORT.
All over. Luton 1, AFC Wimbledon 0. So Luton do begin the season with a win. And as they always say, better to be lucky than good. And this was lucky for Luton, who were running out of ideas fast when a ball played in from the left-hand side with 5 minutes to go, was headed over his own goalkeeper, Nathan Bishop, by Ryan Johnson, who'd been pretty good at the back for AFC Wimbledon, as indeed the whole defence had been, over the goalkeeper and via the underside of the bar and in. To be truthful, he was trying to get it away from Cordy Woodrow, but he was out of position, and unfortunately for him, it was the only goal of the evening. The only other time really that Bishop was called into action was for a Raw Waters effort from distance, which he kept out in the second half. Wimbledon were good, very, very good on their return to League One. They can be proud of their achievements tonight, but Luton have somehow got over the line. It finished here, Luton 1, AFC Wimbledon 0.
Moose, thanks very much indeed. So, Topsy, we just heard there from Katie Taylor and that huge speech that she shared for the Lions. It got me thinking, did you ever have a celebrity or a sports star give you some kind of inspiring team talk during your playing days?
Well, funnily enough, 2 boxers managed to spend time with Carl Frampton and Barry McGuigan.
Wow.
So at the time where Carl was a world champion and obviously Barry, a former world champion, just similar message, just talking about, obviously, when I'm in the ring, it's 1v1. I'm good. He's probably very good. It's not going to be skill that gets this job done. It's going to be a 12-round war, and it will come down to championship rounds at the end. Who wants it more? Who can last? I'm going to outlast you. That's the only way I'm going to get over the line. And yeah, again, obviously, I think rugby and certain sports, pretty combat sports, kind of, we have this mutual weird respect for each other. I guess they look at us saying, how'd you do that? And we look at them going, well, you're getting punched in the head for 12 rounds. How'd you do that?
Do you remember what game it was before that you got those speeches?
Oh, I don't. I remember with Carl, this was midweek, so we went to his gym to watch him work out, and then he kind of spoke to us afterwards and just kind of shared some stuff. And yeah, again, you go like, yeah, fair play, because we watch what you do with admiration, right? Obviously, yes, you've got coaches and a team around you, but once you're in the ring, you're on your own to an extent, and you've got to deal with somebody trying to punch you in the head for 12 rounds. So yeah, good luck. You do that.
Yeah, I think I'd rather stick to rugby.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. In just over 12 hours, then, we'll be underway for the Lions' final match on Aussie soil until 2037, which is a bit scary to think about. But both sides will walk out in front of a sellout Olympic Stadium in Sydney with 82,000 people in attendance. Last week, of course, Topsy, we saw 90,000 people pack into the MCG in Melbourne, which was actually more than the number of people who were in attendance for the 2022 FIFA World Cup final between France and Argentina, which shows off the size of this occasion. But right, who needs this win more, in your opinion? The Lions or the Wallabies?
Oh, man. And I can't sit on the fence because they do both need it, but I will side with Australia because I think they really need to build on the goodwill that they built last week. 3-0 is absolutely historic for the Lions and, again, takes them to another level. But if I'm having to split the two, I think it's Australia that need this to be 2-1 and need to say to the Australian public, we're not anywhere near as bad as you think it is. We are here to stay and we're here to fight for our corner.
What do you want to see from the Lions tomorrow? Because I think if you look at that first test, they were so dominant in the first half. And then in the second, let Australia grow into the game. We saw, a lightning start from Australia in the second test, but the Lions gradually gain momentum and get themselves back in and get that last-minute winner. So what kind of game are you expecting this time around? Something similar? Or
it's gone back and forth. And funny enough, slow starts has actually been the Lions' Achilles heel throughout this test series. So for them, it's kind of having that intensity from the off, taking it to Australia and saying, actually, as much as we've talked about it, last week was a flash in the pan. Yes, you raised your game for the big stakes, but you can't actually hang with us. So we're going to show you what we're really about in Game 3. And yes, actually prove to you that the job's not done. Yes, we've got 2-0, we've won the series, but no, we're about more than that. And we're going to show you what the Lions really is about. So kind of that intensity, align with that precision, win with a statement victory. And again, for anyone that wants to come for us afterwards and say, 3-0 Australia won't. No. We put them to the sword in incredible fashion.
And history could be made tomorrow. All the coverage starts from 10 o'clock, kick-off at 11. Shabana Hearn will be your host for that one. She'll be joined by Alex Cuthbert, legend of the 2013 series, alongside all-time record try scorer David Campese for the Wallabies and your commentary team of the former Lion Ben Kay and Andrew McKenna. Just want to say a big thanks as we head towards that final game for the team that has brought you this Lions tour on talkSPORT. Producer Dan Kane has worked tirelessly alongside Ollie Hunter.
Yep.
Topsy, yourself, of course, Alex, Shaban, Ben, who we just mentioned, Andrew McKenna with his electric commentary, and Alfie Reynolds, who's been pitch side. He's been bringing you Lions Uncaged too. So they've done some fantastic work. I've been a bit of a finisher. I've come on for the last 3 minutes.
Oh, mate, you can come on in. You're part of the crew now as well. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, let's finish in style this weekend.
Absolutely. Let's hope the Lions do too. Make sure to tune in tomorrow morning from 10 o'clock. We'll have it for you live here on talkSPORT. Right, up next, don't go anywhere. It's the Sports Bar Weekender with the most brilliant Ben Fletcher and Carlton Cole.